Hello everybody, this is Celesta Matthews and today we are going to see some file operations using system calls. So our first question is to display the contents of the existing files. So we'll have a look at the program first. So this is the code. What I have done is I have created an array for taking the file name as input, and I have read it from the user and stored it. Now using the open system call, I have opened the same file in read-only mode. If my file descriptor is -1, that means it cannot open the file and the exit function will be called. Otherwise, what I have to do is I have to create a character buffer of size 20. You can have any size, and in this while loop you have to continue reading till you reach the end of the file. So once you reach the end of the file, your num value will be almost like 0 or something. If it is 0, then it means that you have reached the end of the file or there is nothing to read inside the file. So I'll run the loop till it's greater than 0 and then I will write it. 1 means I am writing it onto the standard output, that is onto your output screen, and I'm passing the address of the buffer in which I have stored whatever I am reading, and num is the number of values actually read from that particular file. Once I'm done with that, I'm closing the file descriptor. So now let's execute this. It's asking me to enter the file name. I will say sample.txt, and here all the content of my file is displayed. Now the second question, create and write the contents to a file. That means I have to create a file and I have to write the contents, some content to that particular file. We will see the code. This is the code. As I did earlier, I am taking the f name, that is the character array for storing the name of the file, and I am taking its input over here, and then I have created this buffered array of size 500. You can have any size with it, and using this I am taking some value as input so that I can write the same value, same string into that particular file. Now I have to create that particular file, so I say fd, that is my file descriptor, create system call, and I'll pass the file name, and these are the permissions. 6 will be for the owner and 4 will be for the writer, the group, and the other 4 will be for others. Now once the file is created, I will open the file in write-only mode because I have to write the contents to that file. So I will write it using the write system call. I'll say fd, that is the file descriptor of that particular file, the address of the buffer in which the data is stored, and strlen buff, that means whatever data is stored inside that buffer, the length of that data will be passed to this function. And once I'm done with that, I will close it. So I will run it. It's asking me to enter the line to write into the file. So I will say hello Celesta. Now it's asking me to enter the file name. That means I have to enter a file which is not existing. So I'll say ss.txt. Once I'm done with that, it's all completed. Now what I will do, so now we'll open the file. I'll say space ss.txt. Here is the file. Whatever content I entered now is entered inside the file. Now we will see the next question. The next question is append the contents to an existing file. So we'll have a look at the code. Now see, as usual, I have asked for the file name. After that, I've created a buffer and I asked to whatever content you want to append into that particular file. After that, what I am doing, using the open system call, I am opening the same file in the write-only mode, and then I have to append it. That means I have to move the pointer to the end of the file. By default, it's at the beginning of the file. So what I do, I say lseek file descriptor 0 means I have to move 0 bytes. That means I don't have to increment the pointer at all, but I have to start doing that from the end of the file. So this means from the end of the file move 0 bytes. Okay, so once that is done, I'll reach the end of the file. Now what I have to do is I have to write into that file. So I'll use the write system call file descriptor, the buffer that I'm using, and I'll say strlen buff. That means whatever value is there inside the buffer, it will give me the length of that particular string. So we'll execute it and see. The file name, I'll give the same file name, sample.txt. The content, hello. Okay, now that's done. We will open the file sample.txt, and now you can see the content that I entered is already over here. Now let's see the fourth question. Copy the file contents from source file to the destination file. We'll see the code. Okay, so this is the code. Now in this, I have asked the user for the source file and the destination file. I have opened the source file in read-only mode and the destination file in write-only mode. If the file does not exist, then I have to create the file. So I see o_create, and this is the permission that the file has to be created. Then I have created an array called buffer. Now the same loop I am running until all the data inside my source file is read. Once it is read, I directly write it into the second file. That means here I am using fd1 and here I am using fd2. And I am using the size of the buffer over here because whatever content is read, that if the buffer size is say 20, then only 20 bytes will be read. And all those 20 bytes that are read is stored inside the num, and only that many bytes I have to write it back into the other file. Okay, after that I close both the file descriptors. We'll run it and check. The source file is sample.txt and the destination file again we'll give ss.txt. So that's done. Let's view the file ss.txt. Now see, whatever content was there in sample.txt is in ss.txt. Now the fifth one, copy file contents from source file only 10th byte to 100th byte to the destination file. So we will see the code for that also. Here it is. So again what I do is I'll take the input from the user for the source file and the destination file. I'll open the source file in read only and the destination file in write only. If the file does not exist, I again have to create the file. Now from 10th byte to 100 byte, that means I have to read only 90 bytes. So the size of our buffer is 90 bytes and I have to move the pointer, the reading pointer, to 10th byte, right? So I use the lseek system call. I pass fd1 to it and it is 10, 0 means 0 means that I am at the starting of the file and 10 means I have to increment 10 bytes. Once that is done, I again read it. That means I have to read from the 10th byte and I have to read 90 bytes from it. Next, I will write all this data into fd2 and I'll close both of them. So we'll work it out. Source file sample.txt, destination I'll give again ss.txt. We will open the file ss.txt and see. Now you can see all this value has come. Okay. Now the next one is display the last 50 bytes of a file using duplicate file descriptor. Okay, so we'll see the code for that. This is the code. First I ask the user to enter the file. Next I open the file in read-only mode. If the file descriptor is -1, that means you were not able to open the file and you will exit. Otherwise I have declared the buffer over here and then I have to move it to the last 50th byte. Okay. So what I do is using the lseek system call, I'll specify -50l and 2 means from the end of the file. Okay. Once that is done, as usual I will read from the file till I reach the end of the file, and I'll close the file descriptor. So we'll run it. The file name, again I'll give sample.txt. Now see, the whole file has not come, just the from the 10th byte it has started to read. Now the last one is to rename an existing file. Here is the code for that. What I do is I ask the user to enter the source file. Once that is done, I ask the user to enter the destination file. This means what will happen actually is whatever data is there in the first file, that will be copied into the second file, and the first file will be deleted, and there will be like the second file will exist. Okay, so what I have done is I have created a link from source to destination. That means all what is there in the source will be copied to the destination, and then I have unlinked the source. Okay, so let's run it and see. Enter the source file. I will say sample.txt. Once that is done, I have to enter the destination file. So I will say abc.txt. That's done. Now you can see over here that there is no sample.txt, but you have abc.txt. Okay, so I will execute that. Vi space abc.txt, and here you have the content. So that was very simple. I hope you understood it. Thank you.